And we're back! Greetings and welcome to the 12th edition of Big Bad Bat Raps. This week sees my High Elves playing Eric's Daemons. We're still bringing down 2,200 points to the club, practicing for the North Star GT. I had been bringing my vampire counts the last couple weeks, and this week I thought it'd be fun to bust out my High Elves. Haven't played them in a long time. Had a pretty successful tournament season last year with them. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get on to the game. On to the lists. My general is a level 4 Archmage riding a steed with the Book of Hoth. I have a BSB Noble with Dragon Armor riding a Barded Steed, Enchanted Shield Lance, Handmaiden with a Reaver Bow, and a level 2 Dispel Scroll. He's running Death. I also got 2x5 Reavers, 10 Silver Helms with Standard Musician, 14 Archers, a big unit of 12 Dragon Princes, full command, Banner of the World Dragon, 19 Sisters of Avalorn, 3 Bolt Throwers, and an Eagle. He's got a Bloodthirster rather, with 2 lesser gifts, the D3 impact hits and +2 attacks, and a greater gift, the ASF sword. He's running a Herald of Tzeentch with the Lore of Metal, Herald of Khorne BSB with the Hatred Locust and the Banner of Magic Resistance 1, 45 Bloodletters, 3 single Beasts of Nurgle, a Cornate Soul Grinder with Baleful Torrent, and a Skull Cannon of Khorne. So those beasts are definitely going to be a problem, and well, pretty much anything in this list is going to be tough, and I do have the Banner of the World Dragon. We'll see how it goes. For spells, my level 4 rolls up Miasma, Enfeebling Foe, The Withering, and Occam's Mindrazor. Pretty good selection here, about everything I need. Mindrazor's obviously always good. Withering and Enfeebling Foe and Miasma just really help elves out. I mean, they really kind of take care of their weaknesses. Level 2 gets Spirit Leech and Crest of Lannis. Alright stuff here. The level 2 is actually in with the Sisters of Avalorn. So most of those spells are 24-inch range. It works out kind of good that that's their maximum range. So it kind of adds a little extra something in there. His Tzeentch Herald sorcerer dude is running Lore of Metal, and he's got Final Transmutation and Enchanted Blades of Iban. The +1 to hit, it's going to really be good for any of his units, really. And Final Trans is Final Trans. Let's have a look at deployment. Even though this is kind of in the middle here, he's got a single Beast of Nurgle, his big unit of blood letters with the Herald in there, the BSB. That wormy thing coming out of the ground is the Soul Grinder of Khorne, and you can see hiding behind the rock is his Bloodthirster, and you can kind of see the nose of the Skull Cannon peeking out. He also has his Tzeentch caster right behind the Soul Grinder. You can't really see him too well. On his left flank, he's got the 2 single Beasts of Nurgle, and again, you can kind of see he's got stuff hiding behind that rock. I have quite a bit of shooting that you can see here. I'll get a better look at that in a second. And here you can see some of his stuff hiding behind that rock. The Skull Cannon can move and shoot just fine, so it's perfectly, I mean, in case I get first turn here, he's hoping that that stuff is kind of safe. He's got his Bloodthirster, the Skull Cannon, his Soul Grinder's a little bit shielded maybe from some of it, and he's got that caster hiding behind there too. On to High Elf deployment. My left side of the board is a unit of Reavers, an Eagle, the 10 Silver Helms there, and a Bolt Thrower. Dead center is pretty much my Sisters of Avalorn unit. There's 19 of them in there with the Handmaiden and my level 2 Death. Then you got another Bolt Thrower, a unit of 14 Archers with the Standard. And my right flank has Bolt Thrower, the Reavers, and my Dragon Prince bus with my BSB and my level 4 Archmage and General in it. So that's ready to go. We roll off, well, actually, I have a couple Vanguards to do first, so I move up my Reavers here on the left a little bit. And same story with my Reavers on the right. Just moving up a little bit, applying a little bit of pressure. If he moves up a little bit, hopefully I can zoom past him and get behind him, even though you may have noticed his army doesn't have a lot of soft targets for these Reavers to go after, or my Eagle for that matter. So hopefully they're going to be playing a little bit of a redirector role and Chaffee's stuff here. Even a single Beast of Nurgle, I mean, it will destroy this unit of Reavers, so it's not really something I want to engage. So we roll off for first turn, and the Elves get first turn. I get to do some shooting here first. Hopefully I can do some damage. For first turn, I just move up a wee bit here. My Silver Helms enter those woods, which end up being a Blood Forest, which I think's okay because I don't think we're going to be casting spells in there. My Reavers take up a little chaffy position behind that house, as well as the Eagle. Hopefully we can get in front of Soul Grinder, Bloodletters, anything. The Bloodthirster flies, so it's going to be kind of hard to chaff him up. And on my right side, you can see my archers stand still. The bolt throwers obviously stand still. My Dragon Prince bus moves up a little bit to kind of cover some angles on that right side. And my Reavers zoom up past the Arcosite of those Beasts of Nurgle. So hopefully, again, there's really nothing there for them to go after. Even if I charge a single beast or even the Skull Cannon, it's not a good place to be for those guys. So I'm going to hopefully use them in an opportunistic way when I can. Winds of Magic is 8-4 after channeling here. Um, that Soul Grinder is going to be kind of target priority 1. Hopefully I can get a Withering off on that and shoot it. I can't really see the Bloodthirster or the Skull Cannon, and there's just too many Bloodletters there for right now, so we'll see what happens. I do manage to get the Withering off on the Soul Grinder, hoping to reduce its toughness by 2 or 3, but I only reduced its toughness by 1, so now it's just toughness 6, which is kind of lame, but whatever. I get a Spirit Leech off also on the Soul Grinder, and I do 2 wounds to it, but here are his ward saves for that. I also get a smaller Miasma off on the Soul Grinder, reducing its movement by 1. So, a little less than I might have hoped for, but his toughness is reduced by 1. I'm still pretty much going to be wounding on 6s, but my single shot bolt throwers will be wounding on 4s instead of 5s in the shooting phase, so we'll see if that does anything. Shooting phase pretty non-effectual here. The Sisters of Avalorn let loose into the Soul Grinder and do, well, after he makes his saves, they only do 1 wound to it. All my bolt throwers either miss or hit, and he makes his ward saves, and the archers also shoot into there and do nothing at all, and nothing's in combat. So Daemon turn 2, he moves things up a little bit. He flies his Soul Grinder out, or not the Soul Grinder, the Bloodthirster out from behind that rock to behind a house. He's trying to keep him kind of safe from bolt throwers and stuff, even though the first turn they kind of stunk it up. He moves his other Beast of Nurgle up a little bit. The one on the far right that you can't see, I apologize for not getting a picture of that, moves up into those woods a little bit, and you can see a little bit of one on that rock in the top right corner. He gives my rear to the Reavers, knowing that he doesn't have flanks or rear. He has a special rule, and if I zoom past him to try to, go get that caster there or do some other shenanigans, he's going to be facing me. So pretty strategic play by Eric. This picture leads with a little bit of foreshadowing, but let's cover the magic phase first. It's only 4-3. Um, he fails to cast Final Transmutation. The Chaos Daemons table, 4 makes his ward save only 6 up now for this following turn, which is a pretty nice deal. Yep, he tries to shoot the Baleful Torrent at the Reavers behind the house. He misfires and takes a wound, and his cannon shoots and kills one of my bolt throwers. But I pass my panic on my archers, so all is good. On to High Elf turn 2. He leaves me a pretty decent, a fairly short charge into that Soul Grinder, and I'm going to take the bait. I'm going to go for it. I need to get rid of that thing and start getting some points here. He doesn't have a lot of soft points, and I need to get into his stuff before I start getting chaffed up with beasts and letting him dictate what happens. So I charge the Silver Helms into the Soul Grinder. Bit of a blurry photo here, I apologize. It's the only one I really had. You can see the Silver Helms charge into the Soul Grinder. My Reavers up top move just kind of in a spot by the Beast there, out of his side arc. The cannon can go after them if they want. My Dragon Princes move up out of the side arc of that Beast of Nurgle, and my Sisters of Avalorn move up a little bit. That marsh thing there ends up being a Earthblood Mirror, which if you're the majority of your models are in it, gives you a 6-up regen. That will not come into play this turn, as that's not the majority. but that is pretty much movement. Here's a little left side movement. Again, not much going on. The eagle flies up, and so do the reavers. Out of danger, out of sight arcs, hopefully to do some march blocking and maybe get into a chaffy position for a later turn. Magic is for the high elves 9 to 5, so I got some dice to play with. I throw 4 at Occam's Mindraiser, or maybe it's 5. It's a decent number. It's not super high though, and he still has 5 dice, even though it's my level 4 against his level 2. I decide to use my Book of Hoth and reroll. I think I had like 2 1s in there. I reroll one of them and it's a 6. Well, I already had a 6, so it ends up turning into a irresistible force, which kind of sucks. But it ends up going off. So those silver helms are now super strength. And I roll a miscast 12, which is unfortunate, and I lose 2 wizard levels. So I'm going to lose Occam's Mindraiser and Enfeebling Foe, which is tough stuff, but oh well. Another result of the miscast is that my newly level 2 Archmage is done casting spells for the turn. I throw a couple dice at Spirit Leech on the cannon, but he dispels it. My Sisters of Avalorn let loose a bunch of shots into the Bloodthirster, as well as the Handmaiden with the Reaver Bow. That makes her strength 5. It's pretty good. I'm hitting on like 2s with the Handmaiden and 3s with the Sisters, and even I roll really good. This game, I'm not rolling to wound very good. I'm wounding his big stuff on 6s, but even still, the amount of dice I'm rolling, I'm just not getting a lot. I only roll 2 wounds on the Bloodthirster, and here you can see his 2 ward saves for that. I have 2 bolt throwers left. One shoots at the Bloodthirster, hits, wounds. He fails his ward, and I only end up doing 1 wound, so that's kind of, oh well. And the other one fails to hit because I'm shooting through guys. I need like a 6 to hit, but still, it's my best option at that point. The archers shoot at the beast in the woods and do 1 wound. In combat, the silver helms, being always strikes first and having a equal or higher initiative than the soul grinder, they wreck them. Their strength 8. I think they might even be 9 because I'm in IP of the dude, but it doesn't matter. 8. He was withered. Or he wasn't withered this turn, but I destroy him. He's overrun like that. We had established prior to the overrun that those guys were not going to be able to overrun into that mage, and I'm sitting right there, out of the sight arc of the bloodletters, but there's some stuff to be done there too. We'll see what happens. So top of Demon turn 2, Eric declares a couple charges. The first one being with the bloodletters into my Dragon Prince bust, which you can't really see in this frame. But his goal is to charge. He needs a long charge. He needs like a 10 or 11. Statistically not a good thing, but he just needs to kind of get him out of the way so that Bloodthirster can declare a charge into the flank of the Silver Helms. And that's kind of what he fails his charge and kind of wheels, moves up for like 4 inches from his failed charge. And that leaves just enough room for the Bloodthirster to get in. Here's another pick of that. The Bloodthirster is pretty safe. Yes, I still have Occam's Mindraiser, but he is in the flank and like weapon skill 10. I'm hitting him on 5s. It's not that great. He's also got Always Strike First, so I don't even get rerolls. And of course, the Banner of the World Dragon is in my Dragon Princes, so he is going to do a fair amount of damage to these guys. But they got the Soul Grinder, so I can feel pretty good about that. Rest of turn 2 movement, you can see he had some Flesh Hounds of Corn. I don't think I put those in originally in the list for army list at the beginning, but they are. He's got 5 Flesh Hounds there. They ambush in behind that Bolt Thrower, which is going to be pretty nice because I think in the next turn he could do some stuff there. We're still playing chaffy stuff in the top right corner. The Beast of Nurgle on the left side moves down into those woods, hopefully to apply some pressure or threaten those Sisters of Avalorn. And the other beast moves up into a chaffy position on the Dragon Princes. So I took the first couple turns shooting at the big stuff, and the little stuff is still there. Those Beasts of Nurgle are such a pain in the butt. Here you can see just more of the chaffy shenanigans that are going on. I will not be able to declare a charge on the Bloodletters with the Dragon Princes should I choose, because that Beast of Nurgle is right there, and he's got his Cannon lined up there. I don't know what's going on up top there. It's going to be kind of a fandangle the whole game. A little bit of more movement. You can see that one beast moved into the woods to threaten stuff. The Bloodletters failed their charge. Winds of Magic, he rolls Snake Eyes. So he has to randomly determine a guy to take a demonic instability test. It's the Bloodthirster, but he passes no problem, so nothing too scary going on there. Or no, everybody has to take an instability test. That's what happens for that one. Everything's pretty much good here except that single beast that is out of frame here. Or no, it's the one right there in dead center of this frame. Ends up taking 2 wounds from his instability test. Other than that, everything's fine. Uh, he's got 2 dice and he fails to cast Enchanted Blades on the Bloodthirster. For shooting, that cannon lets loose and kills another bolt thrower, so that's effectively taken down some of my shooting. 2 turns with the cannon, 2 bolt throwers dead. Wise target selection, I say. You'll also notice in this photo that there is a lone silver helm there. The Bloodthirster really went to town on those guys. He's got D3 impact hits, gazillion attacks because one of his gift gave him +2 attacks, and he goes to town on him. I break. I managed to get away, but there's one guy left. He's rallying on Snake Eyes. It's pretty much done there. High Elf turn 3 starts with my eagle charging that caster, hiding behind the rock. There are no safe places to hide from eagles, or flying things really for that matter. Magic is 7 to 5. I throw 4 dice to wither the Bloodthirster. I fail to cast it. I need a 13 and I roll like a 1, 1, a 2, and something else garbage. I use Book of Hoth and it doesn't work, so he's shut down. I got 3 dice left. I try Spirit Leeching something and he dispels it. Shooting, I shoot the bolt thrower at the greater demon there, the Bloodthirster, and I do 1 wound to it again. Boo-hoo. The rest of High Elf movement sees me back up my Dragon Princes just a wee little bit. My archers on the bottom right move. They actually march this turn because there really isn't much to shoot because I'll be shooting through my guys. So they just march to get in closer on the action. My sisters kind of shuffle about just a little bit. Hopefully they're going to shoot at that Bloodthirster. And then the Reavers, you can see, kind of do more dancing around. And I only got 1 bolt thrower left, and that obviously stays put. In combat, the Eagle bests that Herald there. He's only got 2 attacks, but he gets 1 wound through on the initial attacks and then survives the attacks back and kills him with his stomp. So, go Eagle. And that Beast of Nurgle, having seen his wizard buddy destroyed by the Eagle, charges the Eagle. Or maybe he charges the... I think he charges the Eagle first. I flee. He redirects into the Ellyrian Reavers. I flee, and that's where we end up. They both flee, and the Beast is still there. So that's really going to turn into a big flee, regroup, flee thing up there top. It's going to be kind of comical. Cue Benny Hill music. For other movement, the Bloodletters move up. The other charges, the Fleshhounds of Khorne, they obviously charge into that bolt thrower there where they did. The Bloodthirster flies from that rock to behind these woods. Again, I mean, nothing's really going to shoot at him. He's out of arc of the Sisters of Avalorn, and that's just kind of mucked up over there. It's really not looking good here. You know, every time I play Demons, Demon players whine about Banner of the World Dragon. But all my games with Demons really end up being pretty close and nail-bitey. So the Archers, I mean, yep, he's just kind of setting stuff up here. I should note also, too, that that beast that was in the woods declared a charge on the sisters. They stand and shoot and kill him. Winds of Magic, he rolls 3. He's rolling really poorly for Winds of Magic here. His 1 caster's dead, but he still has to roll for it. The Bloodthirster has to take a demonic instability test, and he passes it just fine. Again, a little bit ahead of myself here. The Bolt Thrower took a shot through those Dragon Princes and into the Sisters of Avalorn there, and he ended up not killing any Dragon Princes, but kills 2 sisters there. The Fleshhounds of Khorne obviously destroyed the Bolt Thrower and overran into the flank of the sisters there. So that's not good. High Elf turn 4. Kind of had enough of playing these chaff games. The thing can move 12 inches if it passes its March test, and I just got to get rid of it and hope for the best here. So I charge into that single beast of Nurgle. My eagle fails to rally. My reavers do rally and have just enough movement with their feigned flight rule to get out of sight arc of that beast of Nurgle. My other unit of reavers comes around and does some chaffy redirect stuff on the unit of bloodletters because I don't want them getting into, well, the flank of my dragon princes or the front of my sisters of Avalorn. So they're doing that, and the archers just kind of stand still and hopefully shoot at something. Winds of Magic is 9-6. I can't even remember what happens here. I only know a couple spells, and I want to say that I try to cast Withering, and he uses his Dispel, Army Dispel to do it, but I don't have any notes here that say anything happens, so I'm pretty sure that nothing happens regardless. Pretty much failed magic phase for me. Combat down at the bottom, the wolves or the Fleshhounds of Khorne actually end up killing a couple Sisters of Avalorn, but I do 2 wounds to him and I have a rank. I'm going to end up winning this combat. He passes his instability test and then I reform like so. Another picture here. The Dragon Princes either killed that single beast of Nurgle outright, or he popped via combat res. Overrunning wasn't a very good plan, so I just kind of reformed. I gave, the Dragon Prince my rear, or not Dragon Prince, but Bloodthirst in my rear. Just I got Banner of the World Dragon. If he wants to charge in there, he can. Just another pick of the Sisters of Avalorn and stuff. They're trying to fend off those dogs. They did pretty good. Eric was pretty surprised that these guys were weapon skill 5. Yeah, they're a pretty good unit. They're soft. I mean, they're toughness 3 with next to no armor, but they're still weapon skill 5, and they're a pretty good target for Occams. Unfortunately, I don't have that spell anymore. So, Demon turn 4, he charges that eagle again. Well, no, I have to flee. He charges the eagle, and I have to flee. So, again, cue Benny Hill music. That beast must really like the taste of eagle, but can't get a hold of it. The Bloodletters charge into the Reavers, and the Bloodthirster charges into the rear of the Dragon Princes. So now we're kind of going on in combat here. Magic is 6-3. We get Rot, Glorious Rot. Nothing really happens with that. He doesn't have any magic. I don't remember what he shoots with the... I think he forgets to shoot the Skull Cannon this turn, but nothing happens with the Skull Cannon. Most of the juicy stuff's in combat, and I think he just forgets to shoot it. So we go into combat here, and the sisters smack these Fleshhounds around. He's kind of getting flubby with his rolls, but they smack him around, and again he passes his instability test. I don't play Daemons a super lot. I play him a lot in tournaments. There's a demon player at my club. One or two. Every time I play them, these guys just roll insane for their instability checks. I mean, even if I'm winning combat by 1 or 2, sometimes 3 or 4, and it seems they're always rolling like these 3s and 4s, and they're never popping, they're never crumbling, they're just hanging tight, and it's something that drives me nuts. Just that was my little rant there about demons. Other combat, the Bloodletters destroy those Reavers and reform. And the Bloodthirster combat, I think ends up being a draw, or maybe I win by 1, but he, of course, passes his instability per my rant earlier. Not having enough movement to properly get around and chaff this Bloodletter block, I decide to charge it into the rear, hoping I can get enough combat res to maybe get a push and hold on there for a turn. You can't see it in this picture, but my eagle on the top rallies to turn around and take another charge from that beast of Nurgle. My archers move up just a wee bit. They're going to shoot at that skull cannon. Everything else is in combat, so we're just kind of grinding it out here. Sadly, for the life of me, I can't remember what I rolled for magic here, and I didn't take any notes because it was just the game was going along at such a fast clip at this point. But nothing of note happens here. I think I may have got Withering off on the Bloodthirster for 1. believe that's what happened, and that was about it. For shooting phase, my sisters are in combat, my bolt throwers are dead, so the archers let loose a bunch of shots at that skull cannon, and surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, do 0 wounds. Combat, the sisters go first, and smack, they kill a dog and do like another wound to a dude. So he's only got 4 attacks back. He kind of flubs them, nothing much happening. I win by quite a bit here. I think he needs like a 4 or a 5. And yep, he rolls a 4, so he's hanging there, again, per my rant earlier. And while we're on that same little mini rant here, I had reformed in the prior turn to face the Bloodthirster, and it's yeah, I poke like a wound or something through. I don't take any from him. I got the Banner of the World Dragon there. I'm just making my saves. I'm getting like 5 up armor, 2 up ward. I'm poking a wound through here and there, and I got a rank and 2 banners and a wound, and there's nothing. And he's rolling on a 5. I'm thinking, cool, he's only got like 2 wounds left. He should pop here. Nope, rolls a 5. I seriously just I can't believe this, and it seems to happen every time I play Daemons. But you know, all in good fun. I got Banner of the World Dragon, so maybe it's some type of weird karma. You can see by the remaining Reavers there that my plan worked out. I did just enough wounds to hang on tight there, which was pretty darn neat. So they're gonna hold those Bloodletters at bay for another turn. His turn 5, he charges that skull cannon. It's going to be a frontal charge. We dig out the trusty arc of what arc am I in or whatever. And he's in the front, so he's going to have to crash through those woods. But he fails, or not fails, passes his dangerous terrain and gets in there no problem. Here's another epic pick of that battle. We got my Margarita Ice World High Elves against the Cornate Daemons there. Thought that was a cool pick. Magic is 4 to 2, or something like that, or 6, or I don't know. But nothing too serious happens with his magic phase on the Cornate table. He doesn't have any magic. His skull cannon's in combat, so there's no shooting. We go right to combat. The Sisters of Avalorn finally dispatch those pesky Fleshhounds of Khorne. Kind of, I guess, a good deal. They did take it in the flank a couple turns earlier. You know, they were steadfast and did a combat reform, so they just hung on a little bit longer than I wanted them to, but they're in a good position now to hopefully shoot at some Bloodletters. The Reavers, the last 2 Reavers obviously die, and the Skull Cannon comes in and does, well, he rolls at 6, so he gets 6 plus 1 impact hits. Strength 6, again, they're, you know, magical attacks, but he rolls up, you know, like 6 wounds or fails to wound 1. He got 6 wounds. I miss a couple armor saves, and I end up rolling 3 ones for my ward save. So go Skull Cannon there, knocking out 3 Dragon Princes. That could be a thing, but my guys fight back. He had declared challenges here and there, and I decline, and it's really not that big of a deal. But I poke through another wound on the Bloodthirster and end up killing him finally. And the aftermath of that sees me reform again to face the incoming Bloodletters, and yeah, I got some shooting stuff there. So I'm gonna get a turn 6 here. There are no charges. Winds of Magic is 6 to something. I cast Withering on the Bloodletters. I get them down. Actually reduce their toughness by 3, but it's to a minimum of 1. So now their toughness 1. Shooting phase, my archers and Sisters of Avalorn shoot a whole bunch into them. Kill quite a few. Wither them down pretty darn good. And combat sees me not do much to the cannon and vice versa. So everything is hanging on there. And his turn 6, he charges the Bloodletters into the Dragon Princes. You know, he's got Killing Blow. I still got a 2-up ward. We just kind of a slap fight here. Well, they're only toughness 1. My Dragon Princes to the front do a substantial amount of damage to him. But nothing else is happening there. Yep, this is it. This is pretty much the end of the battle. Bottom of 6. He can't crack those Dragon Princes. He has the Beast of Nurgle charged off that eagle on the top to the Benny Hill music, of course. The Yakety Sax, cue it up. He's still alive. He's got his points for the bloodletters. My BSB did kill his BSB Herald in a challenge in this combat, so I get the points for that. We added up here on the 20-0 system. I think it is a 14-6 win for the High Elves. So they pull it out here. Hope you enjoyed watching this army work. I might bust them out next week too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.